So you want to know how to kill Kuudra as fast as possible and actually do it efficiently. In today's video, I'm going to be going over everything you need to know on actually killing Kuudra in the boss fight itself, how to do it, all that good stuff. If you guys enjoyed today's video, subscribe. No further ado, let's get into the video. First off, in order to get to Kuudra, you need to complete really 3 things before you want to go into a boss. First, you need to complete Elle's full quest, join a faction, do all that stuff. If you don't know how to do that, I have a guide on that right here. This is for the Berserker side. I'll make a guide on the Mage side very soon. So in order to fight Kuudra, there's a few things you're going to need. Kuudra spawns in a giant skull in the wasteland. It's pretty hard to miss if you just go to the opposite side of the map. It's right the hell here. And I honestly find it hysterical how there's guys who are saying stop Kuudra hate, but besides the point. Then you can talk to the Kuudra gatekeeper and actually get into the run. You can have up to a party of 4 and at least 2 people. I recommend having a party of 3 or 4 if possible. On the alpha server, it can be kind of hard to find people, but on the main, getting a party of 4 people is so important to actually doing this. Now, the ideal party recommendation, what I recommend you do if you have the choice, is having 2 hype mages and 2 term archers. You can bounce that a little bit, but you want a shit ton of AoE clear, because that's the only thing your gear is actually good for, is surviving and clearing all the mobs to get the tokens. So having mages and archers are great in this setup. You're going to take a lot of damage anyways, you just need to make sure you have enough healing items so you're able to survive. So now I'm also going to show footage of the boss fight and commentate on what you need to do and the steps I recommend you take. So when you spawn in, there's going to be a few things you want to do. First, you want to talk to Elle, ready up, pay the coins, and then you're going to want to get in. And eventually, the Kuudra will spawn in. First thing you're going to want to do is shoot the boss if possible. There'll be tentacles that spawn up, get on a cannon and start shooting it. There's nothing else you can do. Every time you hit one of these mobs with your cannon, you will receive 1 token. Tokens are used to be bought in a shop, which could give you such important upgrades. You need to get as much tokens as you possibly can. So start shooting in the beginning, and then it'll start to summon it in mobs. I recommend having 1 or 2 people go and clear these mobs and get enough tokens to buy these upgrades. Killing mobs gives 1 token each, so it's super important. As we can see, the hype mages are just going to absolutely roll through this stuff. First upgrade I recommend you buy if you're doing a clearing is multi-shot. Multi-shot means you shoot 2 instead of 1 on the cannon, which doubles your token gain and doubles your damage. Multi-shot is one of, if not the most important upgrade in the entire game. So getting that up as fast as possible is amazing. Costs you, I believe, 40 or 50 tokens to buy in the beginning, then it's 80, then it gets incrementally harder. As for things you want to buy with tokens, buy multi-shot, buy rapid fire, buy damage, and buy sweet spot. Those are the good ones. There's other ones that are decent as well, but the main ones is multi-shot, rapid fire, damage, and sweet spot. All of these help you do as much damage as possible to actually Kuudra. Now, what I recommend for the actual gameplay is having a few people, like 1 or 2 people on cannons, and the rest are just clearing it and making sure that they are able to actually shoot. Because if you get hit off from a cannon, it's annoying and it slows the run down by a lot. So having 1 or 2 people clearing the mob as well as 1 of the people shooting cannons is the ideal setup. You'll also see these floaty orb things. Shoot these every chance you get. Every single one of these has good buffs for you. It gives you tokens, it gives you health, it prevents enemies from spawning. Shoot these every chance you have. These are so good. Now, there's also a few events that will spawn in depending on which tier you're doing. For the basic one, the only thing, maybe the only 2 things will happen is going to be the mana bomb and then the blazes. If you're doing hot, it'll be mana bomb, blazes, and dropship. Mana bomb is very simple. There will be these prismarine blocks that spawn around the map. All you have to do is run up and use X amount of mana next to them. It doesn't have to be a Hyperion or anything. You can use Aspect at the end. You can use any mana ability next to them, and it will deactivate them. You must break all of these in a set amount of time, otherwise you all die. It's very important. Some of these will spawn on these little island outledges. These are where wither sentries are. Wither sentries fucking hurt. Kill them as fast as you possibly can when you see them if your job is to clear. These things will one-shot most good players if it's in hot or plus, and if it doesn't, it will get you down so insanely low that you'll get killed by something else. Now, the other 2 events that will actually happen is going to be the dropship and the blazes. What blazes are is they're just mobs that spawn in and deal increased damage as time goes on. So if they're alive for 5 seconds, they'll do like 10 damage. If they're alive for 50 seconds, they'll do like 5,000 damage. Point is, kill these guys as fast as you can. However, they can only be dealt damage by cannons. What this means is you want to have one person with the cannon shooting them, or two people with the cannon shooting the blazes, and the rest of the people clear the rest of the mobs so they don't tank for the blaze. Also, I recommend having 80 tokens on you at all times so you can auto-revive if needed. You must spend tokens in order to revive. If you do not have the tokens required to revive and you are dead, there is still a way for you to get back in. One of your teammates must complete one of the events, so mana bomb, dropship, blaze, or shoot one of the orb things that fly around, which will give every single person tokens, which means you can respawn. So it's super important if your teammate's dead and doesn't have the tokens, just complete normal tasks and try to have 80 tokens on you at all times. The next event that will happen is dropship. You must shoot a gas that flies around with TNT 200 times in order to kill it. If you do not shoot it 200 times, it will kill every single person instantly. Now this is why terms come into play. It requires range damage. If you have a guy or two with terms, that's so incredibly useful. If not, there's still stuff you can do though. I recommend having a Juju and then going to the outer islands and shooting the thing. If all 4 of the members have Jujus and doing it, you can get it with ease. If you have difficulty with this, just equip your werewolf armor when you're on the outskirts of the island. This will allow you to gain ferocity perks and deal a lot more damage and get a lot more hits in. Make sure you kill this thing as fast as possible. This takes priority over everything else. Once it's dead, go back to whatever your normal task is and you'll be fine. Whether that be shooting cannons, clearing, whatever it is, go do something productive. Also, one other thing, tokens are not shared between people. However, the upgrades are. So if Bob has 20 tokens and I have 500, we can spend those differently. And if I buy multi-shot, Bob also has multi-shot. So if you have a lot of tokens, make sure you do one for your team and upgrade the stuff. It's so incredibly nice. Now for the final phase of Kuudra, you will see these little red orbs flying around that say shoot me. These are so important to kill. You must kill them. If you don't shoot them, they will either spawn in mobs, heal Kuudra. They're bad shit if they actually get to the boss. So make sure you shoot all of these if possible. Now for this, there's only 3 available cannons that can actually hit Kuudra and all the tentacles. So you're going to want to have 3 people on cannons shooting and 1 person clearing everything around in the area to keep them from hitting you off and blocking your line of sight. Make sure you hit all of the stuff. Kill the tentacles before you deal with Kuudra, because the tentacles will continuously spawn in mobs, which are kind of a pain. So try to kill the tentacles and then shoot Kuudra. Get a plan with the team. It can work out pretty well. And most importantly, make sure you work well together and have a shit ton of healing. You need a Wand of Atonement for this. I don't care what you say. You need a Wand of Atonement because you can use it so often. It is such a lifesaver. Alright, so that was just a quick guide on how you actually want to deal with Kuudra, all the what you want to spend your tokens on, what the meta is, what I recommend you doing, all that good stuff. If you guys enjoyed today's video, subscribe, it would truly mean the world to me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.